hour deadline. And I'll never forget, our daughter Olivia's in the audience somewhere. She's a really good runner. I've been watching her run cross country since she was age 6. When I was getting close to the finish line, about an eighth of a mile before the turn, I could hear the crowd and I was getting real close. And she came up to me and she said, "Daddy, I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it." And it made the 9 months of training worth every minute. Something I'll never forget. But I think when you pull it all together, what I realized, Cheryl, there's no limit on what we can accomplish in our life, no matter your age, your size, or your status in life. And I think that's my lesson. The other thing that you wanted to ask me about, or wanted me to comment on, was just the fragility of life and how I've seen that in my business and my career. I've had 22 death claims. I've had 22 of my clients pass away, and a couple of them have been very, very unexpected. I remember a phone call, and these are phone calls you don't forget, but 2 years ago, it was a Sunday, we had just gotten back from church, and there was a phone call on our home answer machine. Greg, family business, had this relationship with this family for probably 12 years. Bob, this is Greg. I'm really sorry to bother you at home on a Sunday, but could you please give me a call? And that same message before I called him was on my cell phone. And I called him, I said, "Craig, first of all, don't apologize for calling my house on a Sunday. And secondly, I have a feeling something is terribly wrong." He just started crying on the phone. And I could feel the tears go through the phone. He said, "Bob, Adam, my 30-year-old son-in-law passed away last night." And all of a sudden, 29-year-old widow, his daughter was a 1-year-old baby. And their life changed very quickly. Another quick story, about 7 years ago, the chief financial officer of the company called my office in the morning. And again, these are calls you just don't forget. And he said, "Bob, I've got some terrible news." And there's a girl in the audience tonight that used to work for this company, and she knows the story. I said, "Joe, what is wrong?" And again, he started crying on the phone, and he said, "Earl was found in his hotel room, dead. I think it's a massive heart attack in Brazil, where they had a manufacturing facility." And I just started shaking. I had a large insurance policy in his life that was only 10 months old. Their life changed just like that. And he said, "Bob, I wondered if you had Claudia's cell phone, because we're trying to reach her." I knew of his death before his widow. And the impact and how their life changed, I've learned so much from these experiences. And I guess to put it all together, I made some notes. God gives us one chance, one shot. Don't waste it wishing you could have been. Life is not a dress rehearsal, it's the real deal. Life throws curveballs. We're all going to get them. It's how we react. Enjoy the ride. There's no return ticket. You know, Steve Jobs was the president and founder of Apple Computer, was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And I want to read a quote to you that was in the newspaper not too long ago addressing his employees. I thought it was just so perfect for tonight's theme. "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition." Pretty powerful. And then lastly, to bring it all together, Cheryl, life is precious. Embrace it and make it count.
Well, I'll see if I can get through this. Laurie, it'll be a year ago this February, right, Laurie? She actually died. And where's Lauren? Is Lauren up there? Lauren, one of her tennis partners on their team was there on the tennis court, and Laurie went into cardiac arrest, and they had to shock her 3 times. And I'm going to turn it over to Laurie to share, but I can just tell you, if something had happened to Laurie, a bright light would have gone out for her.
This was February 8th. and I kid my husband, I tell him now I get too hurt. But we were playing tennis. Let me start with the first of the year. My mom passed away New Year's Eve last year. She was 92 years old, lived a wonderful life. Then we had the ice storm, and we had all the kids and all the dogs, and, you know, loving every minute of it for about 2 or 3 days. 6 days, a month. But we got through that, and I have a great tennis team, a lot of girls I play with. And it was a 9 o'clock match at night. It was at a Urban Active in Lexington, Kentucky. And I never played there before. I remember writing the check-in, and I cannot tell you to this day what it looks like inside that building. I do not know. We were playing through a match. We were winning. My partner, Cindy Baker, was with me, and she said it was taking me a little long to serve. And I turned around. She said she turned around, and I dropped the tennis ball and laid down on the floor and turned forward. Well, luckily, Lauren was with us that night. She was not supposed to play. Another one of my dear, dear friends that has cardiomyopathy opted out that night. I have another partner on our team that is a doctor. They did CPR for 17 minutes. Lauren was my breather. I'll never forget it. I just can't tell you. And we finally got to where we could talk to each other and look at each other and not cry. But I said, why did you not stop, Lauren? Because usually after 10 minutes you stop. And she said, you were trying so hard, I could see you. And, you know, I just thank God that they were there. It was awesome. But through this whole thing, the hardest thing that my friends thought would be tough for me for is to lay there and do nothing. With me, my cardiologist said, you have no blockages, you know, you eat right, you don't smoke, you do these things. And it was like a light switch. It was either electrical or viral. They don't know. But they said the only thing that you can do to make your heart get stronger is to do nothing. So I laid around for like a couple of months. My girlfriend Karen's daughter I was supposed to have a shower in 2 weeks. I did that shower. You know me. I'm not going to stop. But had great help from friends that prepared all the food and everything. And, you know, I'll never forget it. I live with joy every day. I'm never going to look back. You know, people are like, oh, aren't you scared to do this? Aren't you scared? I say, no, I know who has me, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I'm just thrilled to be here.
I have a quote that you sent me that said, life can change in a second, so make every day joyful. And if there's anybody I know who can brighten a day and squeeze, she makes me look catatonic. I've never seen anybody with more energy than Laurie. And one of the things that Laurie wanted to do on her bucket list, and she was sharing some things with me, is that she wanted to be able to share her story. So you have to check that off. So we had an audience tonight that we got to do that. And the other thing is she wants to go on a helicopter ride. And you got to check with your doctor when you make that happen. But you got to check with your doctor. And the other thing she said, I want to take, and I don't even understand why this, but she wants to take painting lessons or pottery lessons. And my son's out here. Every time they had an art project, and I have zero artistic ability, I swear, Zach would say, well, call Mrs. Goggins. She's going to do it, because she already knows. But what we're going to do, Laurie, okay. This might be fine. I always think blank canvases, when you think about the new year, is this is a canvas for you to take home and brush, and we're going to get lessons for you and Dan. So this will be, we can't wait to see what you paint.
There's no telling what will be.
So tonight's show, some of you realize we had a contest, and I had a committee to pick certain individuals in the audience. We picked your bucket list. We're going to try over the next year to make those things come true, at least one thing on everybody's list. They had to keep it to 10, so it's very difficult to narrow it down to people we chose. But then in the future, hopefully next December, we're going to show you what exactly we accomplished. So we'll be looking to see what's all
We'll
black
put the
and white
pressure on
on.
it.